Hello, it's Delia here. So glad you clicked on. I wanted to hop on here today to talk a little bit about what's the deal with magic? What's up with that? Um, there's just such a wide variety of definitions and energies around the whole idea of magic. And a lot of them are invalidating, right? Magic is over idealistic, it's escapism, it's untrue, it's not viable, it's not reproducible, it's not empirical, it's not admissible in a court of law. I mean, there's all these different ways that magic has been relegated to children and unicorns and childishness and not fit for the real world, um, escapism, right? So there's a lot of cliche that are disparaging about magic. And there is a lot of magic as escapism. And that's considered a bad thing. And the people who use it as escapism consider that a good thing about magic. So there's lots of different shadings and projections around magic. And what I wanted to address today is about the great thing. There's a lot of great things about magic. And in the world that we live in right now, there's such an energy of documentation, right? In fact, I mean, things without a white paper are not very, they're not very valid. And things without a degree or a governing board can be considered invalid. So, ironically, maybe the thing about magic is that it is anything that is past definition or validation or accreditation. So here's the thing. If you believe that for something to be valid, it has to have white papers or it has to be proven by scientists or by a court of law, then what you're saying is that nothing outside of a man-made world exists. Or nothing outside of the world that man can ask questions for or build utensils to measure, for instance. So it's ironic because by using the means that the culture has developed that are supposed to be about the means to find the truth in any situation, are now being used to cut off possibilities beyond explanation. And there's a big history for this. There's a lot of burning at the stake throughout history, and every body has some kind of a cellular memory of being crucified or killed or burned at the stake or socially shunned. All of those are death pictures to the body for knowing things you can't explain or saying what you see when what you see and say are contrary to what the culture is interested in at the moment. So the most benign story of that is the emperor has no clothes, but there are certainly stories that are a lot less benign than just the kid who sees the emperor as having no clothes on. So part of why I came on here today is for you to start to think about, what does magic mean to you, and where do you allow it and where do you not allow it? And this is an important question for your ability to manifest the kind of life that you want to manifest. If you are constantly having to build the next thing in your life in continuity with the last thing of your life, then you're always going to be dragging your past into your future. And just hearing that is a drag for the body. So if you have to be true to what was true yesterday or last year or the year before, you have a history of relationships where you get betrayed, where you get disappointed, or somebody leaves you. If you have a story like that and you have had that happen enough times to validate your story, to justify your story, then every person that you meet has to go through that criteria. And you could meet Jesus, and Jesus could have nothing but true love in his heart for you. But your story is going to make situations, the story is going to make itself true. And so then situations are going to happen where in your vision, because you have these filters, then this person is going to betray you, or they're going to, whatever your story is. So people think they have a story about how things are based on what has happened. And the truth is that you believe that that's what's going to happen. And so that's what you see. Usually when a body hears this the first time, it gets very defensive. Oh no, you're telling me, you're victim blaming. And I'm not. However, what comes up for you with the idea that your expectation and your point of view is what creates reality instead? Do you get defensive? Does your stomach get tight? Does your breathing get shallow? Do you get angry? Any of these responses are your body trying to tell you something about what I'm saying. The world will tell you that what happens to you is based, the world will tell you that your version of reality is based on your experience, and that that's how it's supposed to be. And all spiritual teachers will tell you that your reality is based on your projections, assumptions, points of view, and beliefs. So everything that brings up, we destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, Papak, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So to hear more about what that mumbo jumbo was that I just said, you can look up theclearingstatement.com. It's from Access Consciousness, and that website, that web address will explain what the clearing is all about. A way to think about it is it's an energetic way to move energy. It's a way to move energy. So there's a lot of constrictions around this. So why does this matter? Why does magic matter? Why is your definition of magic matter? One of the reasons that it matters is that it cuts you off or makes you available to all kinds of things that you can't explain first. We have the horse before the cart. We have the cart before the horse in this culture. And we expect to be able to explain things first. And it's, if you are the navigator, if you are sovereign in your space, then your experience comes first. and your decisions and choices about that experience come first. So if you, like in healing sessions, when I'm working with somebody, they can have insecurity or some kind of a belief, a problem that has been manifesting, physically. It has a physical manifestation, tight shoulders, tight neck, digestion problems, shallow breathing, always nervous, always anxious, various physical manifestations. And in the course of a session, which is, just an hour, right? In the course of that session, a person will have a huge shift in energy, and they can have relief where they used to be contracted. They can have space where they used to not. And if they are particularly successful in the explaining world, they can have trouble digesting the healing they just received and pop right back to what they know is true for them. And so here's this opportunity to kind of step out of some kind of inhibition, something that was holding you back, And because you can't explain why you feel free now, you go back to what you know. And it's always an option, but I really recommend that you consider, what if you could just walk forward and leave whatever that pressure or whatever that tightening was. What if you could just leave it behind? And what if you could walk forward? What would happen, because this has happened with tons of people, what would happen is that as you go into the coming days and weeks, you'll start having like just an awareness, or a thought will just pop into your head, or you'll see yourself reacting differently, and you'll put the pieces together and you go, oh, that's what that was about. And that's the way you organically come to have true understanding of yourself. Being able to put things into a sentence can be useful, but it's not the only useful thing. And being able to receive and integrate a healing creates the space for new awareness and comprehension to come in. And then it's organic. Then you actually know it. And it's not somebody else's information. It's your information. So if you have a hard time believing in magic, or if you have a discrediting kind of point of view about magic, or if you really favor magic because the world sucks and you want to go be in magic, then either way, because they're both, neither one of them are neutral, and they both have a charge. So what if you just considered what would be the opposite of whatever your feelings about magic are? And what would be possible, or what would be so wrong if you let go of your notion that magic is really, really good or really, really bad or whatever it is? What if you just entertain the idea that maybe, like the old Joni Mitchell song, maybe you don't know magic at all, and maybe magic could be an ally for you? And the thing about asking these questions is that you're not looking for answers, you're looking for space. You're just allowing for relief. It's kind of like emptying the bucket of your conclusions, decisions, assumptions around magic, and just opening yourself to what else is possible. What else is there about magic that you've never even considered? What if magic could come in the form of money in your bank account? What if magic could come in the form of you having inspiration and then the focus and single mindedness of purpose to follow it through? Like Harry Potter, right? When she had that vision on the train and then she stuck through it, right? So, what if you were open to what magic is instead of how you have defined it? And if this is at all interesting to you, what if you try on this idea about maybe you don't know magic at all and inviting magic to teach you who and what it is, what's it about? And then spend 3 days kind of being in the mindset of, I wonder what magic is in the world. And then letting yourself be educated, right? So this is a kind of exercise that's really good to take notes because you have an awareness or an understanding on Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you think, oh, that was so amazing. And by 7 p.m., you can't remember it at all. So you can tuck it into your phone or jot it down on a piece of paper, whatever it is. But just take some notes about what, start off with what do you think magic is right now? And how does it feel when you try on the idea of releasing your determinations, your definitions of magic, and just being open to wonder what it is. And then looking in your life to see what you see for the next couple of days. So an invitation to magic, see what you see, and send me an email at delia@deliayeager.net or post a comment here. I'd love to hear about your relationship with magic and what else is possible. All right, thanks.